dust and turned me into such. All you granted me was lust. And what I seemed to grow was lust. Are you displeased? Are you angry? My mighty my angels' wings have been bruised and restrained. Those who break to blood are so fumes in vain. So believe in me and collect. I'm your leader today. Rise! So scream for me, little sister. Wanna leave you for another master. Leave you with a pool of water. The water is my alma mater. I hate my software, I hate my health, I hate my encore, and no one else. And my breath, in my rest, in my neck, in my oh, I hate my body, but not like you. I hate my country, but I ain't like you. And myself, and my friends, don't let me be them. And I fail.
Uh-oh. Okay, it's good. Audio is good.
Okay.
Huzzah!
In that case, welcome back everyone to the next session of Here Be Dragons. And
Howdy.
starting off, who's going to be giving our recap tonight?
Alright,
Ruford, me or you?
okay. I get it. It's gonna be a doozy though, whoever does it. A lot.
Easy Blue Dragon.
Yeah, quite a bit did happen.
Yeah, man. Alright.
You'll go and I'll fill in any blanks.
Yeah, okay. Because I think you wrote more notes than me. I'm bullet.
I did write quite a bit.
You know,
Yeah,
before
but
you start,
I write in bullet point format, so it's.
before you start,
You
it'd
have
be
point, man.
really funny to get an animatic of Cheese and Corvus trying to give the recap of the episodes.
Ugh. I'm not doing all
It would
that
be
work.
about as chaotic as it currently is.
Just
I am not-
Sapphire in the background,
not-
sitting down, looking up, like all like, oh, I love this.
I am not doing the recap in Corvus's voice. Okay.
And I'm not doing it in Jesus either.
Corvus is not meant to talk that. Okay, doke. So, before anything really took off, we had a bunch of visions, whether from dying or from returning from death. Started with Cheeses, who saw herself in a very opulent, like high class room that seemed to be made of a living tree, and the room was entered in by a weird gnome creature that had weird wings and eyes, talking about a journey. And then it cut to like another vision of like a darker, when the room was darker, and there's this pale elf with reflective eyes. Don't know what that was about. And then we went over to Liare, who was in the Nine Hells, I think, and he was getting tortured by a bunch of imps and got his legs pierced through with a big metal drill-like thing. So that was fun.
Yeah.
Okay, so then we cut out of that shit, whatever that is. And you know, Corvus does some check, make sure everyone's going all right. Sapphire goes to heal with a potion, but Lessla stops her, fearing that magic could have had a bad side effect. We don't know what happened really. And then so Sapphire like kind of putting the potion away, kind of going, okay, I'm not allowed to heal. Then turned around to look at Sindris and Lara and the Drake, and when going to approach them, make sure everything was okay, because she saw they were quite blood fell on her hand, and she looked up, and it was this mangled corpse of one of the 1,000 Fang members that we somehow missed when we entered here. Don't know, just did. So she started like trying to comfort that group, while Corvus was able to heal both Liare and Chief, returning them to consciousness, utilizing I think, the last of our little healing flowers that we found all that time ago.
Yes.
You know, we helped both of them to their feet a little bit, we comforted them a little bit. Cheese was very uncomfortable about causing a fear, a little bit of a rattling. We lied, I think, unsuccessfully to her that she didn't die. Because as far as we know, she did. Maybe she didn't die. You know, we don't know.
I didn't roll. I just said
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah. We saw the other group, and we started making our way over, and started. Everyone sort of just was making sure everyone was okay. You know, Corvus gave a blanket. Liare was just sort of standing off to the side and heard some noise. Walked in there, found the kitchen, saw Otzel. Walked up to him without a care in the world. Otzel revealed that the mayor had some sort of resonance crystal that we could have deactivated, but we failed that for the old-fashioned way. Otzel then kind of walked out. He's not the one responsible for the guy on the ceiling, so we don't really know. Leaves us more mysteries because we don't know a lot. There's a lot of questions in the air at this moment, so we decided to finish up an investigation. Oh, actually, Lessla went into the kitchen. I found a dragon gold dagger with like an emerald or something in its pommel, and a cookbook. We traveled to the left-hand side of the manor and checked all the rooms there, finding 2 empty servants' quarters. However, one of them, in the bedside table, had, I think, a locked journal. So I don't know if Sapphire took that, but Sapphire found one. We saw a bunch of food reserves, and then we decided most of the group decided we should probably clear this floor first before moving on to the next floor. They already said, as he walked up the stairs. Lessla followed him, and they found a weird statue with glyphs, and didn't fully understand what they were seeing. Lessla was fascinated by green fire. She put that out. She investigated the thing, realized it was some kind of communication circle. The eye wanted to destroy it. Lessla said, "Don't. It could go boom." Barry said, "But." Lessla said, "No." And then they went back down the stairs. Larry then made his way down the stairs. Lessla decided, after insulting Lessla, calling her a hag, which that could have ended, appropriately, but they decided to walk off. Went down the stairs, found investigated a drawer that was clinking and clanking, realized there was some metal in there, looked at some coffins, checked under a carpet next to an anvil, checked some barrels, found some wine, got drunk and passed out, while the rest of us investigated the rooms to the right of the house. Then we found a private dining quarters and a study. The study was full of alchemy books and another type of book, but I can't remember it off my head, and a ledger detailing wine deliveries dating back a long time. We took note of that. Lessla took a bunch of the books. We figured out the fireplace had an illusion in it. Corvus burnt himself in illusionary fire somehow. The others succeeded in their check for Corvus, who knew it was an illusion before anyone else, but eventually he succeeded. We found a room brimming with seemingly a room of crafting and uncrafting of magical items, a bunch of scrolls, which Lessla and Corvus found, and then Sapphire found a bunch of stuff, including 2 orbs, one catching souls, one seemingly acting as a arcane focus, and a mithril sword that Corvus seemed to materialize next to and swipe right out of her hands. I watched the video. It literally is what happened.
I
Don't know how
still
that
headcanon you came up to Sapphire was like, I'm giving this to Cheese. I'm like, alright.
We found a bunch of, other than that, we just found a bunch of, I think it was decided as cold steel hammers that seem to be modified to break down probably magical items. We don't really know what the purpose of breaking them down was for. Then we checked on Liare. Well, Cheese did. There was a scream. We all ran in. Realized he was drunk. Decided to just leave him unconscious. We investigated that room because why know it? We went back to the trapdoor, investigated the dungeon. Wasn't much there. There was a couple day-old blood. There was a what do you call it? Desanguinated rat. Lessla tried to look in a chest, nearly got her fingers broken off. That was resolved. Went back to the room, did some further investigation. Lessla deduced that maybe, just maybe, the rattling was enchanted weapons. We opened one of the chests, room, realized it was empty, just went through careful deductions. He guessed most of them probably empty. Then we investigated the coffins. One was a quite rotted body, another was a not as badly rotted body in a dress, and then the third was a quite fresh body, looking like the construct, the face of the construct that we previously defeated, figuring this was probably the mayor before he was replaced by a machine. The woman might have been his wife that was mentioned all that time ago. We don't know. Because remember, the mayor had a wife.
What? No. Impossible.
Lessla hit the anvil. It caused every drawer in the thing to rattle. We decided to leave that room. We were going to make our way, but then Lessla wanted to go check the thing once more, where the fires were lit again. This caused her to really want to endanger her life and the rest of us, which caused Corvus to enter self-preservation mode to try and dissuade her, and Cheese trying to actually look out for Lessla. They then headed down. We were going to leave, and then Lessla went, "Oh, I have a speak with scroll. A speak with dead scroll that I found in that magic disenchantment or enchantment room, which we don't know fully." Opened it up, cast it on the guy in the ceiling. The guy in the ceiling, we said, when asked who did it, we heard Blue Dragonborn. We were all excited, thinking Inik had escaped.
Excited is a strong word.
I was excited.
Nah.
Out of character, we were excited. Second, we thought maybe it was the Corpse of Remembrance that would explain, who left the healing potions, who killed the two guards out front, and maybe did this. But then we had other questions, such as why did they kill the others in this place? Also, what happened to all the servants? But then he just kept repeating Blue Dragonborn. Lessla got fed up, used Invisible Mage Hand to knock it from the ceiling, so others knew she did, we just thought it fell. And then kicked it out of frustration. And with the realization that she could have cast it on the mayor and didn't, and now she couldn't have any more. Then, with everyone shaken from either being traumatized, unconscious from alcoholism, badly burned, everyone's paid, everyone sucks, everyone's out of resources. We decided, all right, we've done all we can here. We'll come back later with fresh faces, and then we decided to leave the house. Did I miss anything?
I don't think so. I think you got it all.
I have a bunch of scrolls I can't use.
Yes, I mentioned.
Yeah,
That
get
was-
fucked
that was
with those,
mentioned.
though. I'm kidding. Yeah.
I can list those off if you want to. There's a lot I can't
No.
use.
There is no need to list every one of them off.
Always eat
A
them.
fan of my hand.
I just also tell you there's a way to be able to cast all of them. But anyway,
This
Picking
was a
up-
long recap. How long did that take?
15 minutes.
Oh, sorry
It was
about
a
that.
bit. It was
lot.
a very heavy session.
It was an eventful session. You guys explored through this entire thing.
Yeah,
I'm proud of us.
proud of most of it.
But yeah, jumping
Most of
back
us.
into the present with the lot of you having essentially just failed to get any useful information from the dead cultist.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's the last thing to have happened.
Yep.
There's a dead cultist on the ground right here.
Yep.
Jesus, ready to walk out the door.
So is Sapphire.
If you'll
Yep.
excuse my voice crack, good God.
All right then. Unless anyone else is doing anything inside of here.
I doubt it.
Gonna take that as a no.
Yeah, we're
Yep.
good to go.
All right. So y'all head out the door. There's still two corpses out there. Same way as you left them.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm.
Good.
The noise from the rest of the town has died down a bit.
I have a question, Joe. The bodies. You didn't check on the way in. They have noticeable
Noticeable what?
wounds?
Yes.
Okay.
Very much they did.
Animal or like this guy had a big
They were
axe?
like fucking
Had a
pinned
big-
to the wall.
Yes, one of
Oh.
them was pinned to the wall
I see.
by a
Yeah.
pair of daggers.
Okay. That could have been optional.
Does it look like there's still smoke coming from the town, or have fires been put out?
If there's smoke, it's not from active fires, it's from just the chaos of battle.
Okay.
It doesn't look like things were like actively set on fire.
Only one thing was set on fire, and that was us.
That was our fault. Yeah. Cheese just takes a moment. What time of day is it currently?
Left in the morning. Probably afternoon, evening.
It's about midday, it's a little afternoon.
Oh, okay.
Oh my God.
You can't even take a long rest yet.
It's
Shit.
been a very eventful day.
Yeah, but nope, but we're leaving the
Yeah.
town. Fuck this shit. You're in no condition. For the woods, my people, where it's safe.
Oh, we still have to finish our mission. We haven't done shit about that.
Yeah, we haven't found anybody.
Oh, right, and today's the final day, too. Because, like, apparently it's like 3 days until some ritual.
Yeah,
Oh, God. Did they go back to that, like, spiral area?
Cheese is just going to take a moment to bask in the sun and be grateful for it, but she wraps the cloak of billowing around her a little bit tighter.
Gotcha.
I do not think I want to go into that building again.
I don't blame you.
Mm,
We will, eventually.
Why? We scoured that place top to bottom.
There's still the ritual room.
Right.
It's an unanswered question that I think all of us are intrigued by.
Yeah, intrigue's a word, yeah. But if the ceremony or whatever ritual they were planning is being held there, then where's all the captives?
Should we try and meet back up with the others, or just go on our own?
it would be
You know, that's a
best
great-
for us to reconvene to see if any more information has been gleaned.
I wouldn't mind that.
I don't have any objections either. Laurie's probably still drunk off his ass.
Yeah, Liari's out.
Suppose we try and meet back up with the others then.
Yep,
All right.
if we can find them.
Yeah.
We go in
So
in the general direction of the
Well,
others.
yeah. Heading back to town, there is one bridge. So.
What is
Isn't
state
that the
of
bridge where we fought what's his name on?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is there an
what-
alternate route?
Nope.
Well, is that part of the
So,
battle
if we
over?
go back to
I'd
the
rather
town
not.
map. There is potentially
Move us to the map. Ah, there we go.
so because it was in fact this bridge.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
The only other option is to swim.
Mm-hmm. I don't know about you, but I didn't prepare a water walking spell.
I do not have that spell. I do have something else though.
Wild shape.
Actually, no, never mind. It wouldn't work. No. I was thinking I got this spell confused with another one.
I mean,
Um,
in theory, you could just wild shape and like as a bear, and then help us across.
Do you think Cheese wants to carry you across her back,
No,
across a river?
No, not with us on your back. With us just kind of like holding onto you while also swimming. You wouldn't be carrying us. You would just be helping us move along.
I just want to go to the. Is the battle? Does it sound like the ruckus battle
You don't
noises
see
are
more
coming from the
fire and
bridge?
explosions. You do not see any more fire and explosions from the bridge. No,
I don't see any reason to avoid said bridge then.
potentially not.
Yes, let's just go
She's
check the
just walking
bridge.
towards the bridge.
If we have to go around, we'll go around. But yeah.
Yeah.
Cheese is making her way to the bridge. She's leaning heavy on her staff. She's up.
Sapphire will help her when she notices that Cheese is leaning heavily on her staff. Okay. She still needs help.
She just kind of nods and thanks.
So a lot of you make your way back to the bridge, and upon it, you don't see the golden half dragon. You do see, however, another figure. Well, several others. I'm gonna go ahead and move you there now.
Oh shit! It's a blue dragonborn.
Dragonborn.
Standing there, clad in what is very clearly some kind of magic armor, because it's not supposed to be that color. And that's not paint.
It's just
It's
made of
pretty.
cobalt.
Is a very tall, very muscular, older-looking Sapphire Dragonborn,
Hmm.
flanked by two of these massive constructs. There are also two that seem to have been partially, if not almost fully, melted.
Yeah, that checks off.
Jesus, just looking up at these massive constructs and
Cheese is, or Sapphire is just gonna like lean over to Cheese and just whisper, "I think we found the blue dragonborn the corpse was talking about."
I think so too. And she's just kind of takes an awkward step back. She does not want to be the person in front of the conversation.
Mm-hmm.
So, I want. It would be Lessla would be the one who could make this. Lessla and, well, actually anyone except Cheese, really.
Okay.
Okay.
What type of check am I making?
This is gonna be just a. I'll say this can be Nature or Arcana. If it's Arcana, Lessla, you'll have advantage on it.
Mm-hmm.
If it's Nature, you won't. But it's also an easier Nature check. For everyone
That's
else,
a
it's the
nat
Nature
20.
check.
Oh,
Oh, had
Damn.
nature.
Oh shit!
All right.
okay, has to be nature. I heard nature
Okay.
or Arcana. I'm like, that's
Yeah.
the better one. But you know what? I rolled better anyway. I'm happy.
Okay. So,
Concha de tu madre.
I think there's a
I'm
cat.
sorry?
I think there's a cat messing with Marin.
But no, my laptop just fell over. It was not my cat. It was just me.
Okay. For a second, I thought you were.
Excuse
for a
my
second, I thought you
cursing
were
in
casting
Spanish.
Yeah. It was so quick for a second, I mistook it for Eldritch Tongue. Anyway,
Crisis
So-
averted. We're good.
Lessla and Sapphire, the two of you would know that Sapphire Dragonborns don't breathe lightning or fire.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. No.
So it wouldn't. So Sapphire Dragonborn would not have. This fellow would not have been capable of doing that. Well, not with a breath weapon, at least.
Mm-hmm.
It could just be a paladin that knows lightning bolt.
That is a distinct possibility.
What tempest to me?
Do-
But
It could have also
is-
just been not the person to do it.
Do Sapphire Dragonborns have like a cold breath?
They do not.
They have a force
Sapphire
breath.
ones.
Thunder. They literally
Yeah.
scream at you.
This
Yes.
is where my name is kind of entering me.
The Sapphire Dragonborns do have a thunder breath weapon. They emit a deafening, booming wave of sound, and the concussive force of it shatters things.
Oh, I'm thinking of the
Fun.
amethyst dragons.
Yeah.
The gem dragons are so hard because there's so many of them that are like a base blue color.
No?
I think maybe I'm just insane.
What gems are
Sapphire's the
you
only
thinking
blue
of,
one.
Requiem?
I don't know. In my head, amethyst and sapphire look very similar.
Amethysts are
Amethyst
purple.
Purple.
Oh yeah, that's why.
Anyway, moving on. He seems to acknowledge your existence, but is currently busy examining these constructs. As for the two other constructs, they just stare at you, unblinking, unmoving.
Sapphire gives a tiny wave.
Make
It's
my
like,
way
"Hi, thanks."
past. Not say just gonna make my way past. Just slowly making my way past.
So as you start to do that, the one of them moves to block your path, not letting you get closer.
Lessla will also, as soon as it steps forward, Lessla will, speaking in Draconic, will say is, "We mean no harm to your commander. We wish to get across the bridge and reconvene with our allies."
The one looks to him. The other one stays its eyes trained on you. And he casually waves to the two constructs, and they take steps back and allow you to pass.
As Leslie gets closer, she will look to that Dragonborn and, still speaking in Draconic because that's who she is, she'll say, "They were fighting what we believe to be a half-dragon."
Then you and I will have discussions later.
Lessla nods respectfully and says, "I am Lessla Silverster. If you need my knowledge, I can tell you of what I know."
He nods, honestly, somewhat dismissively. Like, you get the feeling, given what he is and who he's affiliated with, he probably doesn't think there's much you can tell him that he doesn't know.
Well, after he nods dismissal of you, Lesla's gonna keep moving forward.
She's just gonna have her eyes trained on him. What vibes is she getting from this guy?
He's mostly just investigating this. Like, he's doing a good job looking it over and checking it over. Making sure that... Well, he's making sure of something. You're not entirely sure what, but he is definitely...
I'm not
Nose
getting
to
my
the
skills
grindstone
deposit
on
back on
this.
these. Damn it.
Man's actually an artificer.
Oh, the insurance isn't going to cover this. Oh, Jesus.
And I want to try and see, as I'm kind of walking past, if I can notice any iconography on him or something that would identify a rank or something along those lines.
So you wouldn't know any kind of, like, rank identifier on these.
But, like, even if you don't know necessarily what the rank is, you can still, like, on an Imperial uniform, you can still tell, like, that's, like, the thing on their chest is like, oh, that's a rank symbol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but this
Is there
the things
anything
we're
along
talking
those lines?
about.
There is a
It's not that
symbol of the
stupid.
Corpse of Remembrance.
Okay.
And there is also several holy symbols that are etched onto the pauldrons of his armor.
Why do you
Ooh,
keep
do I
saying
recognize
corpse?
any of them?
That's how you. It has a P in it.
That is how it is
He
said.
is silent.
It is how it is said. That's how they say it.
I hate it. I absolutely hate it.
Well, that's your problem.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah,
Do I
he does
recognize
bear...
any of
You
religious
recognize Lendis and Bahamut.
Okay.
Oh, great, Lindis.
There are also a couple there that you don't recognize. Like, they seem familiar. You've probably seen Lessla pour over texts on these at some point. But you don't know them 100%. But
Okay.
they're familiar.
She's just,
Sapphire would also recognize those two if she's looking.
Oh, she would.
she's as she passes, she just looks him up and down. Like, she pauses for a moment, looks him up and down, catalogs the information, and then keeps walking.
All right. A lot of you are allowed to exit the bridge without further issue.
Yeah.
Yay!
So you all move out back into the rest of the town. You notice a lot of damage in the streets. Not to the buildings themselves, but there are a lot of dead cultists.
I'm not surprised.
What about
There-
not cultists?
So there are some who have kind of like ragtag armor alongside that, and also some that do bear sigils of the Corpse of Remembrance. They're not Dragonborn, but they do bear sigils, and they are
Any Waterdeepians?
Waterdeepians. No, you do not see anything that would that you would
Okay.
recognize
Just
as actually
checking.
any of their guard or.
Just checking.
Most of their guard is kind of concentrated in Waterdeep. Though, as you do see some more living things, you do see a Griffin rider as well as a couple Dragonel riders. they don't seem to have partaken in the battle, but they do seem to have arrived shortly thereafter, or as it was dying down. There's not many of them, and they kind of seem to be trying to figure out what's going on.
Or something here. Okay. Talking then.
Okay.
Yeah. Cheese just looks wildly uncomfortable the entire time that they are walking.
Yeah, you do see a lot of like captured cultists. Like the corpse are very clearly making that very clearly once the actual Dragonborn in the mithril and adamantine armor showed up, they didn't really stand a chance. Like, these are cultists who maybe have some magic weapons among them, maybe, versus fully clad in massively enchanted armor Dragonborn who are experienced warriors.
Yeah, I'm going to try something. Corvus is going to like kind of close his eyes for a second and try to use his hearing and sense of smells if he can track any familiar scents other than the ones around us.
Okay.
Or hear
That
like,
would be a survival check.
Okay. I'm trying to figure out like basically like, oh, is anyone from the camp nearby?
Go ahead and roll that. I'll give you two options. You can roll it with disadvantage, or you can spend a key and you will roll it normally.
I don't have keys. The disadvantage is.
Okay.
What's this natural one, everyone?
Nice.
Okay,
Was
that's
it
not
natural
bad.
one? Almost. Almost.
That's not bad. So, you try to reach out with your other senses to see if you can get a sense of anyone. You do from some like the ones in ragtag armor. You recognize a few you maybe saw in passing. Lying on the ground. There's a couple that are being patched up, but no one you know by name or have closely interacted with.
Gotcha.
Like you recognize a voice or a peculiar musty scent of the camp.
Yeah.
Though as you get kind of more towards the center, you do see a very large black mark kind of in like the center of town, which
Oh,
you're
like shadow.
guessing probably corresponds to
What's it
that.
smell like shadow?
This
Ash.
Herald.
It smells like ash.
Fire ash or lightning ash?
Yes.
Okay.
Anyway. You're guessing that's maybe where the light you saw earlier came
I have
from.
to smell everything, Corvus has to smell everything so he can knows everything. It's science behind it.
I hate you so much.
What? The unfamiliar smells mean danger. So by familiarizing yourself with a smell, you know what it means.
Sure. Anyways, there's a massive
Question
black
mark,
mark
sure.
there. In addition to the Dragonborn, you do see a couple individuals who are holding staves and have colored robes. There's two in orange, one in red, and another in blue. And they seem to be conversing with the Dragonborn, with some of the more heavily armored Dragonborn.
Can you say the colors again? There were two in orange.
One in red and one in blue.
All right. Thank you.
Damn it.
Cheese is being very hesitant, but Marin the player wants to go and look at that black hole in the middle of the
It's
city.
just charred. It's just ash.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It's essentially a scorch marks.
I guess Lessla would go up to it. Is it the scorch mark of a breath weapon, or is it like the after effects of like a spell?
Roll me a Arcana check.
I'm just gonna guess this one's just basic.
This is just basic, yes.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
Cool.
so this is very clearly the after effects of a very large ritualistic teleportation spell. This is not something any wizard can just cast. This is something that you need to have magic, like a magic room specifically dedicated for this.
It's
And
basically
even then,
it's basically high magic.
essentially, yes.
Yeah. As Lessla kneels down and like runs her hand across some of the char, probably not reacting as quickly as most people would to something that is probably very hot.
It's not hot. It's actually quite cool to the touch.
Oh, that's interesting. She says, "This is the after effects of a massive teleportation spell. Well, I say spell, it's more raw magic. They influencing the weave to cause an effect that you can't quite get with with spells alone."
Double checking.
Anyone, anyone we
Disconcerting.
recognize from camp here?
No one that you recognize from camp, no.
Riverland?
You don't
I was,
see him around.
I was
no.
about to say, well, Riverland was calling in the cavalry, and
He's
I guess
probably
that's how they
I
arrived.
see no horses.
God damn it, Corvus.
Um,
Where's
Wonder what
Corporal
cavalry
Chestnut?
means.
Or whatever his name was.
Colonel Chestnut, you
Colonel.
don't see him.
He's at camp.
Yeah.
we did leave him at camp.
Well,
Is there a medical?
Not currently. It does look like they might be setting that up, but there's not one currently. You
Yeah,
do
she's-
know that what they were planning, the group was planning to do, was essentially to cause a distraction up at here. That was the plan.
mm-hmm. Well, we should probably look around. I sincerely doubt that everyone has disappeared. That or one of the other after effects of this teleportation effect is a swapping of positions rather than true teleportation. And Lessla will look to Zarfea to see how she's doing at the moment.
She seems to have recovered a little bit, but she still seems kind of shaken up. But she's starting to come back into the realm of the living.
Lessla will say, "Lara, you and Zarfea sit over there just in case you see one of the others." And she'll gesture to an area that's a little bit out of the way and in the shade.
And Lara nods and begins leading her over.
Cheese wants to get a better look at these homies in the robes. She wants to know what they are, who they are, symbols, all that jazz. She'll
Okay.
take a step closer to kind of catalog.
And since Sapphire is helping her walk, she's gonna do it the same.
Yeah.
Cheese at this point would be a little bit more steady on her feet and wouldn't want Sapphire's help.
Sapphire, both you and Cheese can roll to figure out who these are.
Okay.
Like this would be just a. I'd say this would be a history check.
Okay. Also, even if Cheese doesn't need or want the help, Sapphire is just gonna be there just in case she loses her footing. So.
More than anything, Cheese just wants to know
Okay.
like the physical appearance of these people, like what they actually are, not necessarily what order they might belong
Okay.
to.
Yeah.
Um,
So yeah, Sapphire, these are definitely of the same order as Rivelin. Cheese, if that's all you're doing, just roll me a perception check.
Alrighty.
It's
That's what
not
I'm
hard.
fishing for. 23.
Okay, yeah, you're. So yeah, Sapphire, for you, these are definitely the same order as Rivelin. These are more of those colored wizards. I forget the actual name off the top of my head.
Wizardly folk.
Yes. Keep track of many things, and this is one of the things that has escaped me.
Mm,
It happens to the best of us.
Regardless. Cheese, as for you, you get a little bit closer to them, and as for the one in red, you can't really get a good look at them. Like they just have the hood of their robe just pulled too far up. They're not really moving or speaking. So whatever is under there remains kind of obscured. The two orange ones both appear to be some species of elf. Though beyond that, it's kind of hard to tell. And the one in blue is a half orc.
okay. And do I see any
Orange,
symbolism
and-
on them like I did with the Sapphire Dragon, or is it just their robes?
It is pretty much just their robes, yes.
Just confirming.
If they have any symbolism, it's below that.
It's blue and
Mm.
orange, right?
There's two orange, a blue, and a
Yes.
red.
And do we recognize the Dragonborn that they're talking to, or is it just like a Dragonborn number 204? Random
Fetch rate
corpse of
317.
remembrance, whatever. Corpse or core of remembrance, whatever the fuck it is. English is stupid goddamn language.
Corpse isn't English. I think we borrowed that from somewhere.
Yeah, well,
We
it
borrowed
belongs to the
everything from
English language
everywhere.
now, which is why it's stupid.
Don't yell at me. I didn't do it.
I'm not yelling at you. I know you didn't do it. I'm discussing my grievances with the English language as a whole. But yeah, Cheese will catalog that in her little memory bank, and then and they do not seem to acknowledge us at all, do they?
The wizards, no, they don't seem to be.
Okay.
Corvus, as subtly as a man like him can, there's things like being set up or things you're needing help. Corvus goes to help, but he does it like as subtly as possible to draw as little attention to him as he can.
Okay.
Yeah. After that, Cheese is ready to move on to where the group said that they were going to cause a ruckus, so she's just kind of walking that way. She doesn't want to get too far from the group, but she does not want to stay here any longer than she has to.
Yeah, while it's just while you guys were doing stuff, Corvus didn't want to stand around doing nothing.
Yeah.
So I'll move when you guys move.
Alright. So I take it you all just sort of head out. Or move on. Okay.
Not stopped. So.
Yeah, so a lot of you just continue moving on past the town square area. Are you heading this way, more towards where you thought the others would be, or are you heading somewhere else?
That's where I would assume we would head.
Yeah.
If we can't find him there, then we can track him from there, so.
Alright.
Yeah,
Yeah, as you get to about here, you do notice that there's like a much stronger presence. This seems to have been like the first sort of like beachhead, so to speak, that was set up. Well, outside of maybe here, but the first one set up not by the Corpse of Remembrance. And it is around here where you do start to see some familiar faces.
Cool.
Cheese waves to people that are familiar. Very smallly. There's no, in a very
Yeah, is there anyone in
manner.
specific that you're looking for? I'm pretty sure I know, but I want to be sure.
Cheese isn't looking for anybody specific. She's just
Rivelin or the leader guy?
I thought Cheese would be looking for a Colonel Chestnut.
He's at camp.
Colonel Chestnut isn't here. He's back at camp. We left him there. He's safe.
Let's bring a horse. Hello.
Hello,
That is a
so.
tactic some people have.
Yeah, you do find the two of them. They are the boss, the guy in charge. He seems let's see. Yeah, Carter, the boss. He seems to be maybe slightly injured, but overall he's fine. Rivelin's sort of tending to him at the moment. He does notice you as you come, but just sort of gives you a wave and goes back to what he was doing, just wrapping the well, it looks like it's a burn with maybe some splinters in it. If you had to guess, he maybe got a little bit too close to something explosive, which, given some of the black marks on the gate, makes a lot of sense.
Cheese will bend down, carefully place her hand over the wound, and she will cast Cure Wounds.
All right.
So he heals 9 HP.
Okay. Yeah, the wounds for the most part heal. There's still some areas, and you can actually see Rivlin sort of work against it to a degree, trying to not heal the areas where there's shrapnel still in it, just so he can remove it effectively.
Yeah.
But he does give you a
And
smile for trying to help.
as she does this, she quietly, she says, "Your friends, mages, I think they were, the ones with the different colored cloaks. They're in the center of the city. If you haven't spoken to them already."
Well, yes, them. I will need to speak to them shortly, but I do have other matters to attend to at the moment. Other very important matters. He sort of gestures to the sort of immediate chaos around them. Until the corpse clerics are going to be ready, I need to do what I can, even if I am not a healer by trade.
I just thought you should know.
Corvus will walk up to anyone healing, will reach in, grab the rest of his bandages, and just drop them. Again, just like he's being as subtle as he can, which is pretty subtle.
All right. Go ahead and
After
roll me a stealth check, Corvus.
Nat 1.
Yeah, this is that one. To be fair, I am
No.
heavily injured. So he's still just the trail of blood, and he slips in his own blood.
It's primarily like burns and such.
I had a giant sword wound.
That also cauterized the wound because it was on fire.
Yes.
It still hurts, and I probably tore it open with all the movement I've been doing.
That's fair.
Very
Just
true.
Just remember, hit points aren't you necessarily getting hit.
When you go from full health to no health, it is.
Well, you know, didn't have that problem.
Yeah.
I almost had that problem. I went down to like, what, 7?
Ooh, I'm at 8.
Poor babies. Oh no, you went down to 7 HP. What a shame.
Hey.
Look, I tried to help you with Silvery Barb.
Anyway.
The bastard just rolled the same fucking number.
Anyway.
But yeah, Cheese, after healing Carter, will stand back up and brush off her hands, and if there is any blood on her hands, she wipes it off very carefully and holds her hands very close to her.
Daria's dumped Drake into like, if there's like a little pit, just walks up to everyone, kind of gives them a hiss slightly, throws his body down and just walks back to Corvus.
Okay.
So it takes him a moment to find.
Once we've found them, Lessla will have Clouth go get Laura and Zerfea.
Okay. Cloutha flies off with a little bit of a mock salute to you.
And the griffin grabs him.
God damn.
Squeak.
I am going to kill you, Corvus. If Clouth dies to a griffin in like 20 sessions, I'm going to kill you.
I didn't do anything. What did Corvus do? I don't have the ability to control griffins. If I did, I wouldn't have been killed by a golden half dragon.
You didn't die.
I almost did.
You were
That's
almost
bad.
dead. You weren't dead.
Mostly dead. Mostly dead is not all dead.
Yeah, well, I can't feel his lungs right now, so.
I know. If I put a hand, I think you'll be able to feel them again. Anyway.
Oh, so weird indeed. Broke all my bones. We just sleep it off.
But yeah, the two. After a little while, the two of them do arrive, and Zarfea finds her family and just elects to stay with them. That seems to help her out a little bit. Laura isn't really good at this kind of thing, so just kind of wanders around trying to see what she can do to help.
Well, Lessla is completely out of her element at the moment, so she's just going to start examining her scrolls and realize that about 70% of them she can't currently use.
Cheese will find a place to sit while they're kind of waiting. She doesn't want anyone to tend to her. She's also having no intention of tending to anybody else. She is just sitting, and she's kind of holding the sword that the Corvus and Sapphire gave her.
Don't forget the ring. I got you.
Yeah, she hasn't put it on, but she's definitely kind of thumbing it over in her hand. And she is just sinking into her cloak.
Sapphire will be
Wait.
doing what she can to help around as well. Like if people need to hold, like if someone needs her to hold things while they wrap them up or whatever, she will. Little things.
All right.
And
But
of course,
Cheese's unsettling smile is gone.
peeking around.
I imagine that we've dropped the Ari somewhere, and every now and again, like just a normal like medical
Oh,
comes
yeah,
like,
I dropped,
oh fuck, this guy's like bleeding from the mouth. Oh, it's just wine. Never mind.
Oh, I literally said the Drake found a mat where people were getting tended to, and unceremoniously just threw him onto the mat and then walked off to find Corvus.
Yeah.
The Drake literally copies Corvus's moods towards people. So if Corvus is like, that guy annoyed me, the Drake goes, that guy annoyed Corvus. I don't like that guy. Fuck that guy.
I love Boy. I love Boy even more.
Yeah. After I'd say maybe about
Corvus is pacing.
say
What's-
about an
what's the
hour
latest?
or two. Like everyone around who can be patched up quickly has been patched up, including the lot of you. A lot of you all can expend any. You can, in addition to taking benefits of short rest, you will all recover 10 hit points.
I do not. I actually go off in the corner, and if I'm tending my wounds, make sure no one tends them.
Okay, then you do not.
I will
But
thank whoever attends to my wounds.
All right.
I will expend. I get half. Is it half rounded up or half rounded down?
What?
You get
For
a
what?
number when you recover hit dice.
Hmm.
Whether it's half rounded up or half rounded down.
I'm not certain.
I will just expand one then.
Ew.
Nice.
Oh, fucking.
Oof.
Yeah, no. I don't roll well, like, at all.
All right.
Also, my token settings are still messed up, Shadow.
Okay, I do need to take some time to work on that.
But otherwise, an hour goes by. Does Sapphire Dragonborn happen to come by?
Again, the
has
fact
not
that it's a
yet.
sapphire dragon is just throwing me off.
Yes.
It's not
does
my
not,
fault
but-
that you chose such a commonly used word.
This is the first time sapphire has been brought up in a context that is not an actual gemstone.
Technically
Anyway.
speaking, it's still an actual gemstone.
Non-living gemstone.
Anyway, yeah, at this point in time, everyone who, like I said, can kind of move on their own has been patched up. Rivlin has ceased tending to people. He's kind of dusting himself off if you wish to speak with them.
Yeah, no.
A quick
Lessla
thank
will
you for
go.
calling in the cavalry.
Yeah, Lessla will speak to him. She will ask him. So I'm pretty sure I made sure I did this, but Lessla will have the rough etchings of the circle that was inside the mansion, and she'll show it to Rivlin, and she'll ask us, "Do you happen to have any insight on what this type of circle is used for?"
Are you giving a description of what's in the house?
Yeah.
Okay. He listens to it all to you, sort of describe what it is and the statue and everything. He sort of furrows his brow, puzzles over it. That is an intriguing one. Can't say I've ever seen one in person, but it does seem to be some sort of communication. Similar to scrying magic, certainly. My guess would be it's to communicate with someone in their leadership.
If that is the case, if the magic has some sort of resonance, it might be possible to trace it back to its origin. Given the nature of the people who were acting here, I'm sure that the Corpse of Remembrance would be very interested in finding out who their commander is.
Sorry, I had to step away for a moment. What was that?
She was talking about how if there's resonance in the form of communication, it may be possible to trace the magic back. That's her hypothesis.
Mm-hmm.
And how that might be something that the Corpus Remembrance might be very interested in, considering the nature of who was acting here.
Yeah. He does think and nod a few times. Yes, I suppose that could be possible. Very challenging, very difficult, but possible. take a very skilled wizard to do it. And it is decidedly outside my realm of expertise.
Would any of your wizard buddies who came to help be able to do that?
I'm not entirely certain who's come. I suppose I should investigate that.
A red one, 2 orange ones, and a blue one. I couldn't see the
That
red one's
hardly
face.
narrows it down.
The blue one was a half orc. The 2 orange
Seamus,
were
of course.
they
No,
were elven.
Seamus I know very well. He might be able to help you.
I'm going to smack Rivelin's calf with my staff and says, "Let her finish speaking."
My most sincere apologies.
It's all right. I'm quiet. I know. The 2 orange ones were elven. I assumed them to be siblings, but I'm not sure.
Doesn't strike a
The-
bell to me.
I couldn't see the red one. They had their hood pulled down too far. Oh, and the Sapphire Paladin Dragonborn from the organization. He brought the constructs. I don't know if you know him or not.
I'm not entirely familiar with him, but he does sound like one of the more higher members of the echelon.
I thought so. That's all that I have. I couldn't see much else. I didn't.
Again, thank you for calling them. The constructs definitely came just in the nick of time.
Of course.
I do suppose it was a bit cutting it close, but things do seem to have turned out well in the end. That does also remind me, I did originally hire another fellow for this job, or contact him at least. It feels only right I should give you what I promised him. I don't have it with me at the moment, but you'll see me in camp afterwards, or kindly give me directions to yours. I will happily deliver it.
Has there been any sign of the ones that were kidnapped?
Oh dear. I had assumed that you would find them.
No.
Corvus appears from the shadows.
I'm Batman.
You notice Corvus has a bruise above his eye that wasn't there before. You're guessing he might have headbutted the wall to keep himself awake.
Corpus.
I'm Batman. Sorry, every time you do something, you need to say I'm Batman.
Corvus is simultaneously Batman and Jesus.
Well, who do you think Batman is in the DC universe?
Billionaire playboy.
No, that's his
That too.
cover.
Oh, he is vengeance.
He's the knight.
He is the knight, yeah.
We're
Cheese
getting off
will
rails.
Cheese will stand very carefully. She's been tended to, but it's very clear that she is not okay, whether that just be from mentally or she's actually still hurt.
Down the
The
dungeon, but no one been there for a couple days.
Other than that, the mansion was empty, other than corpses.
There was more dust than there should be. I think the servants will probably let go and replaced with elders. And the mayor was likely poisoned and replaced with robot. Oh, sorry, robot's not a thing. Some kind of construct.
I see.
If I
I'd
had to
very much
go,
like to have a look at the construct.
there's no
Mm.
construct. We dismantle it thoroughly.
Lady Silverster melted it.
Ah, I see.
If anything, we know this has been going on for a couple months now. Corpse didn't look more than a couple weeks dead. There's also 2 dead guards and a box of healing potions out front. Someone knew we were coming.
More than likely, it was the
Ragazzo.
yes.
You never told them about him, did you?
No,
I
don't
think
think we
I
did.
think you
I
only
think
told
we
the boss.
we referenced him, but we never said anything like directly about him.
He kind of like raises an eyebrow when you say Yon T.
Yeah.
Yon T.
Yes. Very snake-like, very cocky, and Cheese has a penchant for trying to take an item from him.
It's a locket with a picture of a sister or a wife. I can't remember. I think she was also taken.
I see.
Also,
You've given me much to think about.
you know what causes someone to just keep repeating 2 words over and over again?
Specifically, someone that has been killed and is under the effects of Speak with the Dead.
Same 2 words over and over again.
Hmm.
I suppose they could be the answer to all the questions.
I do not think it was the answer to the questions. From what it felt like something was making it that the corpse could only think of that. He simply kept talking about a blue dragonborn.
It only gave a description of an individual.
For all 5 questions.
And that was not an appropriate answer to some of the questions.
The
At
first
first,
2, maybe.
Thought it could be, but as I continued to question, it felt more like it was the only thing the corpse could think of rather than actual answers to the questions.
I would very much recommend that none of you continue to interfere with that corpse. Most likely, this is a very restless, vengeful spirit.
Lessla just nods.
More than likely, repeating the only thing it can think of, the only description it can give for whoever its killer was. The spirit probably feels it was not fairly. Its life was not ended in a fair manner, and that has produced some level of malice in it, preventing it from passing on.
It was a couple days old.
Maybe
not a couple days, but
it was hanging from a ceiling and struck by lightning.
It was mutilated.
And you said it was kept saying Blue Dragonborn?
That is correct.
Well, then it's very likely this Blue Dragonborn. Wait, that have been your Blue Dragonborn. Inik was his name?
I do not believe that to be the case. If it was Inik, As hard-headed as he is, that was actually one of his better traits. Makes him easier to predict. And it meant that he would stand by his duty no matter what. And his duty was to escort me, and he is not here. It would take something of profound importance for him to shirk that duty.
I see.
Considering he was also kidnapped, it brings us no closer to where the others are.
There's also a room full of magical doodads that were being mental.
I see. I see. I see. Well, it seems I shall have to go over the entire manor with a fine-tooth comb, so to speak. This is certainly far more than I expected to find. They seem to be far better supplied than I would have hoped, and that's mildly disconcerting.
We
Highly
also,
disconcerting.
we also found stockpiles of food that the mayor and the members of the Thousand Fang were apparently hoarding from the townsfolk.
Well, that likely explains why they have not seen much to eat.
Practically full. Large room.
It will be enough to preserve the town until the next shipments are supposed to be arrived, I believe. Well,
Yes,
So-
I'm certain it will.
what's left of it
Chat,
anyway.
what was the last delivery of wine? A week ago?
On the ledger.
Yeah, about that.
Okay.
Hmm?
I was
believe
just
it's-
clarifying, yeah.
Also know that they've been selling wine, which isn't range or anything, but up till about a week ago as well, with the mayor's body being it was, and no sign of his. Actually, shout. No, Corvus wasn't there that he had a wife. So he didn't know. He was sitting off to listen. No servants. We're guessing the ones who met us on the bridge were probably the ones originally manning the house. Something doesn't sit right.
Great number of things, I'm afraid, don't sit entirely right. As for the corpse, no one go and interfere with it again, and certainly don't look into its eyes. The eyes are the window into the soul, as the saying goes, and with such malicious spirits, sometimes that is far more literal. And do not touch it either.
Noted.
Shadow, as a person proficient in religion, did I know any kind of undead or like stories?
Roll me a check.
Probably not. This is gonna be
Now
less
is-
than 10.
I can't. I want to say not one, but you just don't roll badly until you need
do roll
until you're in
badly.
combat. When you're in combat, you start rolling badly.
Nonsense. When he was
I
being
roll
Batman-
badly.
when he was being
Bad all the time.
Ezio Auditore da Firenze, just pulling people into the barrels and just
Yeah, but that was
stabbing
that
their
was
neck.
that was advantage. That gave him effectively a +5.
What I always say to me, Corvus is a ambush predator. Does not do good in fights. He is good in ambushes when he has an unfair advantage.
Anyway,
Sorry. The Doc was screaming at me, and Susan picked that up from Doc. So hey, Susan! No,
This
Susan,
is,
that's Doc's food, not yours.
this is your fault for getting a second cat.
Yeah, that's right.
And gone.
anyway. So, Corvus, you are familiar with a type of legend. You've only heard of it as like a legend.
Yeah.
There is a type of spirit that you are familiar with. You've heard it go by a few different names,
Sorry.
but it
You're
is
fine.
capable of. The story goes that when someone dies in their mind unjustly, they do not feel their death was justified or warranted. That malice, that hatred, that confusion can cause the restless spirit to attempt to avenge itself. However, lacking a body to do so, it will latch onto a host to compel them to do so. That seems to fit with what he's talking about. Again, you don't have a definitive name for this thing. You've heard it go by a few different things, most of which you have some idea are attributed to other types of undead. You know, it
Happened to appear as a flicker of flame in the back of the eye.
that is in fact one such description of it. Yes, like I said, this is like folklore you're thinking of.
I think I heard about something like that.
Please tell me that blood dripping on the hand wouldn't have anything to do with, like, possession or anything, right?
If the stories I heard, or like eye in the eyes.
If it's that particular spirit, yes, there are some others where that might be a problem.
Lessla looks at Rivelin and says, "What are the symptoms of possession?"
Minimal until the spirit attempts to make itself known. The only one who'd be aware of it would be whoever looked into the eyes. And even then, they probably wouldn't be aware of possession. The ghost isn't exactly capable of coercing its host, only capable of causing generic acts of malice and violence towards them in order to compel them to comply.
So I should be fine, is what I'm hearing. Okay.
Most likely, yes.
Okay. Good to know.
I mean, you didn't see a incredibly graphic and vivid detail of the death of the individual.
No, I just
Well,
saw its mangled corpse hanging from the ceiling after some of its blood dropped on my hand.
She's
And you are
visibly shudders.
Okay.
as much as I'd love to talk about mutilated corpses, probably keep that to a minimum for the more queasy folk.
I wasn't gonna go into detail. I'd much rather forget that scene too.
Whoa.
I'm
That
just
much I know.
going to confirm no one looked into its eyes.
I sure as hell didn't.
Not particularly. I was more focusing on its expression.
I'm going.
Yeah, Corvus, when you were looking at the expression, the eyes seemed just kind of dead.
Yeah. I was inciting it, so I need to read its face.
I'm gonna go check on Zorfea.
All right.
Probably for the best.
Yeah, finding her isn't that hard. She's with her family, kind of. Not sort of like a child being comforted, but that's as close as you can get. Zarfea doesn't seem to like to be seen that way, as far as you can tell, or act that way. But she's come darn close.
Just burning handsome. Do it, you could just so easily end it.
I don't have any spell slots.
That's all you gotta do.
I don't have any spell slots. Uh,
Mm.
no. Lessla will walk up and says, Zafea, I just need to confirm something. When we were in the manor, you didn't look into the eyes of the corpse that was hanging from the ceiling, did you?
I looked up at it if that's what you want to know.
I need to know if you specifically looked into its eyes.
She kind of gives you a look. You know, like, why are you asking me this?
It seems that it is possible that the malice of the spirit inside the body might have been great enough for it to become, and I don't know the exact term for it, just a vengeful spirit that, and one variant of it is possible possessing others. And without a physical body to do so, it generally possesses others by contact via eyes.
Okay.
I'm just making sure no one looked into its eyes and got possessed, because that would be very unfortunate.
I think I'd know if I was.
Lessla nods and says, well, we can never be too sure. Alright, time to find Laura.
Alright. Yeah, Laura's kind of just wandering around. Not really doing much of anything, although she is trying to.
Miss Laura?
Yeah.
Is she tending to Lyari?
A good way to describe it is it is like watching a college freshman try to help out when they're volunteering at the old folks home, but they have
Oh.
no idea what they are doing. Like she is trying, she does not know what she is doing.
Yep. Miss Laura?
Oh, yeah, yes.
I
Is there something that I could help you with? Yes.
slow down, take a deep breath, and breathe.
Okay. Breathing.
Good. Second, the corpse that was in the manor.
Don't talk about that, please.
I just need to
And
know.
anything else.
I just need to know if you looked into its eyes or not.
I'm pretty sure I nearly threw up when I saw it. I don't think I have time to look at anything else.
Alright. Lessla nods and says, alright. I just needed to know. There's a chance that the spirit turned into a vengeful one, and is the reason why we got the answers we did. So just making sure that none of the compatriots that I went in there with is going to walk off in the middle of the night.
Roll a insight check.
Mm-hmm. That is a 12.
Well, that's still enough.
Oh.
As she's not very good at hiding things very clearly. So once you mentioned like a malignant evil spirit, you can see her visibly like pale.
Laura, do you know something?
What does it look like when someone gets possessed?
From what Rivelin has spoken to me, it is fairly hard to tell when someone has been possessed, but I can imagine that if someone were to be suddenly possessed, they would have a very sharp change of demeanor.
Well, I mean, I don't know if that's what it was, but really seemed to bother Zarfea more than it should have. I mean, she seems tougher than that, right?
Sadly, possessions are not something that are easily overcome with physical prowess. And Lessla will nod and says, I did fear that her sudden change in mood and overall capability was caused by it the moment that Rivlin started talking about possession. But for now, she seems unchanged. But if it is a particularly deceptive spirit, it may wait until no one is looking before trying to reclaim its revenge. That is what I am worried about. It is why I will have Clouth keep an eye on her for now. And I would hope that you would do the same.
It takes her a minute, but she does give you a nod and kind of shrinks a little bit, I guess is the best word.
Lessla will
She
put her.
doesn't really go back to. Sorry, go ahead.
Lesla's going to put her hand on Lara's shoulder and says, if she is indeed possessed, this is the best course of action, as we will be able to respond effectively. And if she is not, well, we haven't done anything untoward towards her to gain her vitriol.
She nods. Doesn't seem to make her feel any better, but she does seem to understand.
And if Zarfea does figure it out and questions you about it, you can just tell her that I put you up to it. After all, most people's opinions of me is not very high anyway.
Well, okay, if you say so.
Lessla will smile as she draws her hand away and says, good. Now I'm going to return to the others. If I were you, instead of wandering around aimlessly, I would ask to see if there's something I could help with.
Oh, okay. I'll try and do that. Thank you.
Lessla simply nods again and turns to walk away.
She similarly turns on her heel and starts looking for someone she should ask. And I'm assuming you return to Evelyn and the others.
Yeah.
Has anyone been talking with Rivelin while Lesla's been away?
I was about to say, like, we're just waiting. We just load back in. Um, I guess after like Lessla leaves and goes about her little mini investigation. Look to Rivlin. How does Rivlin look?
He looks okay. He looks maybe a little worse for the wear, but overall he looks mostly fine.
What happened?
Well, the plan was for us to cause a distraction with some barrels of smoke powder we had acquired. That proved to be more volatile than it should have been. I suspect they weren't exactly smoke powder. Either that or there was some other substance mixed in there. Regardless, they were far more volatile than intended.
Oh, I mean, it certainly worked.
It most certainly did. Perhaps a little too well.
How many injured? On our
Only
side.
minor, but a good many. The enemy was not so fortunate. If you have never seen a guard tower become airborne, it is certainly an interesting experience.
I look for the
Sapphire's
Ranger
expression
Tower.
is just like, what?
You look for the guard tower.
Yeah.
There's a place where one used to be.
You're joking. You're definitely
I am
joking.
most certainly not.
Corvus just like points in a direction.
Sapphire
There
looks
is a big hole where one used to be. A
Sapphire
barrel
looks,
of smoke powder should not do that.
Sapphire looks absolutely astonished. It's just like, what was in those barrels?
Clearly, a lot more than smoke powder.
What's Cheese looking like right now? Those two are having
Cheese?
a little discussion.
She tuned out of the conversation. She's just staring into the middle distance.
Of course, will as those two are like, what the fuck was in those barrels? Of course, will shift himself around and nudge Cheese on the shoulder with his fist.
Yes, Corvus?
Right, ma'am.
Oh, I'm fine. I all of my wounds were treated.
May not be the best at reading people, but I know when someone is. I can tell you. I can tell you're lying. I know that stare.
I just
And she gets really quiet. I'm going to stay at a normal volume so you can
Yeah,
actually
no,
hear.
that's fair. No, I thought.
But her voice drops so low, it is barely a whisper. And she just says,
I didn't think dying would feel so cold.
Yeah, Corvus will just reach a hand up Cheese's head and like actually pull her head into his
oh,
head, the forehead.
she is very surprised by this, but she doesn't stop him at all.
Quiet. But he's pretty quiet. I don't know I don't know what good it will do, but if you need someone to talk to, you could probably do worse.
I appreciate it.
And she
And it's best not to linger. Feel busy. They say the idle mind Asmodeus' playground.
Well, I don't know.
No one expects you to.
I have some thinking to do. I think I have to reevaluate some things.
Corvus nods. After today, I think we all do.
I think your feline friend might be able to help you at least.
Check my shoulder.
She's looking the other way, just very calmly licking her paw.
I've seen you speaking to her.
He just shrugs. Oh. And this whole business wraps up with that, and for the time being. Whistles and the Drake will look at him and then scurry over and will, instead of leaning against Corvus's leg, will shift and lean against Cheese's leg.
And Cheese will give him a pat, pat, pat. And she
You
looks a little
stop and
bit.
he gives you puppy dog eyes.
Oh,
Really weird on a
Oh.
lizard.
It is.
Oh boy. You are too good for this realm.
and
Cocks
she
his head
kisses
to
her
his side.
fingers and then pats like the middle of his forehead.
He seems to very much like it. Is that about this point where Lessla will return?
Yeah. When he spots Lessla returning, Corvus will, as subtly as he does, disconnect, just give Cheese a nod, and whisper to her, "Remember, if you need me." And back to just resuming his former position.
Cheese will just nod in response, not say anything.
I'm going to imagine Sapphire was busy speaking with Rivelin the
That's
entire
why
time,
Corvus-
trying to figure out what could
That's
have been in
why-
those barrels.
That's why Corvus took that moment to talk to Cheese.
Perhaps if it had been mixed with some sort of alchemist fire. No, that wouldn't be nearly volatile enough.
I can take a look at it.
Sorry? Oh, yes, of course. Miss Cheese?
I just want
If
to
you would like to
smell
have a
it
look, that'd be my
and
guess.
feel it.
Okay. It's
Someone
scorched
put-
earth.
Someone put 7 beads of fireball in there? What the heck?
Do I know of any sort of natural concoction that would make an explosion this fucking
Natural
massive?
concoction?
Natural.
No.
Yeah,
As
I
a
figured.
do
I know of any
as a matter of
spells
fact,
or any
Cheese,
sort of?
you can go ahead and roll me. This would actually be a religion check.
Oh,
It's gonna be high because you'd only know
Ooh.
it from Lessla.
yeah, that's fair.
It's called Dragon's Fire.
Well, wish me luck.
Good luck.
1.
16.
Nice.
So, to your knowledge, there is an active attempt by the gods to prevent things that can explode this high, this volatilely. At least
Whoosh.
non-magical things.
You
You're
know,
a little fuzzy on the
usually-
details, but you're quite certain this was not a natural substance.
You know what the description kind of reminds me of? Putting a whole bunch of explosive barrels in a pouch and then blowing it up in Baldur's Gate.
This is certainly not a natural concoction. The gods wouldn't allow such a thing to exist.
She does indeed have a point. Perhaps some
Those,
sort of magical interference?
I wouldn't think of any other way it could exist.
Where'd you get the barrel?
I shall have to inquire further about that.
Who supplied these?
Again, I shall have to inquire further. I'm not entirely certain.
In the shipment? Or was it we delivered to the camp? Or was it before then?
Like, it was there when I arrived. I'll have to ask them how it arrived.
Oh well. A
I was
question
thinking, like,
for
what lumberjacks were using explosives? Which is a big deal, of course, because he's all about protecting forests, my guy.
He's Smokey the Bear.
Only you in forest fire.
I've got beef. I've got beef with Smokey.
Yeah, we don't.
We're all
Anyway, let's see.
arsonists here, so Smokey is actually the BBB.
I've got beef with Smokey for another reason. We'll get into it later.
Yeah.
Yeah, Lessla, at this point you return.
All right.
Cheese, whenever Lessla returns, we'll give her a slight bow.
Lessla says is, for now, Laura and Zorfea don't seem to be exhibiting any signs of possession. Though, given Zorfea's reaction, I am going to keep an eye on her.
What about yourself?
I am fairly certain that I am not being possessed at the moment.
There is potentially one way to know for certain. If you would permit me to cast a small bit of magic.
Cheese's ear twitches.
I say go for it.
Is this one of the detection spells?
In a manner of speaking, though True Sight is quite a bit more advanced.
Fuck, he's that powerful?
I'm sorry, what?
God
Corvus
fucking
doesn't know.
damn
Corvus
it.
doesn't know. Corvus doesn't know.
Jesus.
Corvus doesn't know, but
Out of
Lessla,
character.
Lessla
Holy
doesn't-
shit.
yeah, Lesla's
I don't
eyes
think Cheese
widen
has ever...
behind
think
her
Cheese has
glasses.
ever
Thank
heard
God
of
she
that
wears
specific
glasses.
spell.
You're not a studier, mate. You can learn the spell, I think, but you're not a studier of it, so. Leslie is.
Yeah.
We thought
She just doesn't know the
Rippling-
name of her spells. She just like knows.
thought
Hey, these are the
River
words
was-
that make the magic go burr.
Oh, Riverland was fireball level. He's not fireball. He's beyond fireball level. You could kill all of us with what a thought.
But yeah, he can go ahead and cast it. Cheese looks a little bit. Her ear twitches, but he can cast it.
You know, he's asking us, ever eager to see something.
Yeah.
Team brother.
No, Lesla's eyes widen under her glasses, and Cheese can probably see the amount of surprise that's in Lesla, despite the fact that she was trying her best to hide it. And says, if you wish to use that level of spell, and there's definitely an inflection on that, you may go ahead and do so.
My reserves are running a bit dry, but I do have enough left for this one. I
Fuck.
may
Oh, of
have a
course,
bit-
he's a spell point user too, fucker.
Okay.
Yeah, he takes some ointment out of a little sack he has, rubs it on his fingers, then looks. May I?
You may.
He sort of like gestures for you to close your eyes as best he can,
Mhm.
and once you do, assuming you do,
Yeah, Lesla will take her glasses off and close her eyes.
if you feel him rub some kind of oil or something across the outside of your eyelids, and then around the circumference of your eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You hear him mutter a few words in what languages does Lessla speak?
Common, Draconic, Dwarvish, Elvish, Giants, and Sylvan.
Okay, you don't recognize the language.
Ah, fucking Abyssal.
That could be infernal.
Be celestial.
Or primordial.
Or many others? Or just, a generic language you don't know?
Yeah,
One
just
got it
like
made up.
yeah. I don't know. Maybe
This is-
Lessla
this
just like
is
doesn't know
Riverland.
Spanish and he's just talking. He's speaking in Spanish.
He's casting it in null. He's casting
Yes. Oh God.
it. Like, yes.
Anyway. Casts it, and once he does, Lessla, you begin to see things a little bit more. Not necessarily clearly, but more.
This is actually a polymorphed. Demon.
Yeah, you look. One thing that does become apparent when you do this, you look at Rivelin. Rivelin looks fine. You look at most of the other people around; they look fine. You look at the people beside you, and they're distorted.
Yep, that's understandable.
In fact, your own hands appear to be the same way.
Yeah, that's not surprising.
Glancing over, you see Laura and get a similar image on her, just slightly distorted. Finally, panning over to where you see Zorfea, and much the same, it is mildly distorted. However, what is also clear is what appears to be some sort of humanoid figure that is just sitting on her shoulders.
All right, who has greater restoration?
Nobody.
1 second, let me check.
My guy, we're level fucking 3.
I have a scroll of mass heal.
I have a scroll of fuck you, I do what I want.
All
Oh,
right.
wish.
Yeah, but you have to be very careful with that because you might monkey paw yourself.
Depending on DM, yes.
No. It's okay. It's okay. I have a permit, sir. That permit says I do what I want.
Also,
Sir,
at this
you
point, this
are
is
drunk
where
and
we call it for
unconscious.
tonight.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I was like, we need to I'm really enjoying this, but she was like, we need to speed this up because Liari's just out. Naya's just been sitting in a corner the entire time.
Yes, I
doing
do
nothing.
apologize for that.
I mean, if it's perfectly fine, I could just go to bed. I have classes
Hit
tomorrow
yourself.
anyway.
Yeah, I think
Fair.
we're calling it here anyway.
Yeah.
As
And also, if you had piped up at all, I would have said something. I was pretty sure you're still doing your thing.
No, that ended
Oh, I'm
an
sorry.
hour and.
I was
30
kind of
minutes
waiting for you
ago.
to tell me I was kind of waiting for you to say you were good.
all right. For those of you who joined us, as always, have a good morning, good afternoon, and good evening wherever you are, and remember to stay frosty. For those of you who enjoyed the music and the content, please like and subscribe and ring that notification bell to get more content like this. And if you wish to support us or our artists, please view the links down in the description below. Until next time.